Alright, Algebra 2, this is your 2.5 through 2.8 quiz review. Got 6 problems here. Let's go to work. Alright, the first one is one of these trend line problems. Write the equation of the trend line. And we have the data here. So I'm going to count by, make this my x, right, the top one. So the hours is x. So this is x, hours. And then my score, my percent, is y. And on the x-axis, I'm going to count by 2's. So I'm going to label it below. So 0 is there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. If I counted by 1's, I would not get to 14. I got to make sure I get to 14. And on the y-axis, here's where I'm going to use that. We'll just count by 10's. Sometimes you want to use a break, but I'm not going to. So that's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and the top line is 100. Okay? If you want to fill them all in, that's fine. And I'll graph my points. 875. 875. 5 is in between. 62. A little bit more than 60. 1280. 1280. That's a nice point. 1085. A little bit more than, halfway between 80 and 90. 1085. 235. So there's 30 halfway between 30 and 40. 970. 9 is in between 8 and 10, and 70 is right there. 1182. 11 is in between 10 and 12, and 82 is just above 80. And 1495. 14 here, 95 is halfway between 90 and 100. And there's my scatter plot. So now I'm going to try to draw a line of best fit. And it's not going to work out well. I'm just telling you right now. I'm going to use this point and this point. And this is just from eyeing it. And I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to try to. So let me do that in red. So I'm going to use this point and this point. And I'm going to connect them. And to me, that's a good line because on mine, 3 points above, 3 points below, that's really good for me. So this was the point 235, and this point right here, that was the point 1182. And again, you can use other points, it's okay, but those are the 2 points I'll use. And I'll draw, or I'll create the equation of this line. First, I need the slope. The slope, y2 minus y1, over x2 minus x1. Let's call 235 x1, y1, and 1182 x2, y2. So I just plug in exactly what it says to do. 82 minus 35 all over 11 minus 2. 82 minus 35 is 47. 11 minus 2 is 9. So it's 47 divided by 9, and that roughly is 5.22, round to 2 decimal places. So there's my slope. So now I will use this slope and this point 235 in point-slope form. Point-slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus y1 is 35 equals m 5.22 times x minus 2. Y minus 35 equals, distribute the 5.22, 5.22x minus, and 5.22 times 2 is 10.44. Add 35. Y equals 5.22x plus 24.56. There we go. Okay, so that is this problem done by hand. And again, maybe they'll give you a number to plug in for, say it said if you studied for 7 hours, what should you expect to get? Okay, we just plug in 7 for x and we'd simplify. So be aware of that. Now let's do this with a calculator. Okay, and I'm going to bring my calculator up here. I'm going to slide it over. Okay, so that should be in the window. And I know I'm going to bring it down here just so I have my, here's my data. So I have all my data listed right there. I'm good to go. So remember, when you do this by calculator, calculator is stat, and you press enter to edit. Enter. And what I need to do is clear my list by going up, pressing clear and enter. Going over, pressing clear and enter. X's go in L1. That would be 8, 5, 12, 10, 2, 9, 11, and 14. So I have 8 entries in list 1. So there should be 8 entries in list 2. 75, 62, 80, 85, 35, 70, 82, and 95. Okay, so once my lists are complete, go back to Stat, go over to Calc, and you want to go down to the 4th selection for the linear regression. My calculator asked me all this stuff. Make sure list 1 and list 2 are x and y. Go down to calculate. Yours might just bring it up LING or LINREG. Just press enter. And here we go. So 4.47 plus 33.31. And my calculator is going to go away. Actually, here's what I'll do. Screen grab. Copy that. And it should paste right in here. Yep. And there we go. So my equation for this problem was, or is, y equals 4.47x plus 33.31. And I mean, compared to ours, not exactly right, but 4 and 5 are pretty close. 24 and 33 are not too far off. Okay, so again, my picture might be terrible. Who knows? But there you go. By hand, by calculator. Make sure you know how to do this, please. Make sure. Okay. 2. Write the function rule for each function reflected in the given axis. And here's our function, f of x equals 2x minus 4, and we're reflecting it over the x-axis. So the rule is, and I'm going to write g of x will be the new function, if I'm reflecting over the x-axis, then that is the opposite of the original function. What is happening is, when you reflect over the x-axis, all of these y's are coming down here. And y is the same thing as f of x. So you're making all these positive y's become negative. And that's what we're doing here. We're flipping it. So we just take the opposite of this 2x minus 4. Now make sure, because 2x minus 4 has 2 parts, you put it in parentheses and you distribute the negative. G of x, negative 2x, plus 4. And there's that function reflected over the x-axis. Everything turns opposite. 3. Graph the equation, then describe the transformation from the parent function. Here is an absolute value equation. Y equals 3, absolute value of x plus 6. And we need to graph it. Well, first thing I like to do is always graph the parent function. 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, 1. Dotted. And there it is. And now, let's take a look at how this parent function is going to be transformed. What do each of these things mean? First, let's look at these two numbers. We have a plus 6 inside with the x. This is a horizontal shift. It is your h value. You do the opposite. Plus 6 actually means left 6. This 3 out in front is an a value. That means it's a vertical stretch or shrink. And because 3 is bigger than 1, it's a stretch. Vertical stretch. Everything's going to be elongated by 3. But remember, we treat this a as the slope, m, of the right side. So that's how we're going to use it. But it is a vertical stretch. So the first thing we should do is shift. So do the shifting first. left 6. I'm going to do it in blue. So I'm going to take this vertex and go left 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. So I moved 0, 0. I moved the vertex that way. And now, this 3 is the slope of the right side. The slope is 3. Put it over 1. That means up 3 and to the right 1. So from this new vertex, go up 3 to the right 1. There is the right side. Now, there is symmetry with these absolute values, right? So the left side is just the opposite side across this dotted line. And there's the left side. And there you go. So make sure you can identify the transformations with these absolute value functions and graph them. Good. Next one. Yes. We did a problem like this in our notes. It says the map shows the number of tickets needed for small large rides. You do not want to spend more than $15. Spend no more than $15. How many small and large rides can you do? Well, we have to look at the information here, okay? There's number of tickets and there's a cost for a ticket. So let's talk about X being the cost for a small ride. Cost small. Well, it takes 3 tickets at 75 cents. Let's let X be the number of small rides. So there's a cost associated with each of the type of rides, small or big. Well, there's 3 tickets at 25 cents each. That's 75 cents to ride a small ride. Let's let Y be the number of large rides. It takes 5 tickets at 25 cents each. That's $1.25 to ride a large ride. So if I take the number of small rides I do and multiply it by 0.75, and I add that to the number of large rides I do and multiply that with $1.25, this needs to be no more. Spend no more than $15, less than or equal to 15. That symbol right there, I'll make it better, is a less than or equal to. Ooh, sorry. There. Sorry. Less than or equal to. And now we must graph this. And to graph this, we're going to use the intercepts. I'm going to slide down for a sec. So, graph by intercepts. Notice X and Y are on the same side, so we're going to find the intercepts. First, to find the X-intercept, we need to find X, so ignore Y. 0.75x, and we're going to ignore the inequality and let it be equal, because I want to find the point on the axis that I do. Divide by 0.75, X comes out to be 20. And that's your X-intercept. That's going to go on the X-axis. The Y-intercept, we're going to find very similarly by ignoring the X. So we do 1.25y equals 15. Divide by 1.25. Divide 15 by 125. And we get 12. Y is 12. And that's going to go on my y-axis. That's my y-intercept. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to count by 2's, okay, everywhere. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 is at the top. And I will put these 2 points, one on the x-axis, 20. I skipped 18, sorry. Oh, yeah, okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 20. And y, 12. And that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. $12. 12 is right there. And because it is equal to symbol, solid line in between them. Okay. And now, when x and y are on the same side, to figure out the shading, you must use a tester point. I'm going to test 0, 0. I'm going to plug 0 in for x and 0 in for y. Well, when I plug 0 in for x and y, the left side just becomes 0, because x and y being 0 cancels that left side out. Is 0 less than 15? Yes! So you're going to shade towards 0, 0. 0, 0 is right here. So you're going to shade with 0, 0. And all those points in there are a solution to this inequality. So it asks you how many small, large rides can you do? Just pick a point in here. Let's go right here. This is the point 8, 2. 8, 2. Remember, we're counted by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. And that means 8 small and 2 large, because smaller x and y are large. And there you go. That's just one solution for the combination of rides that you could ride and spend no more than $15. Okay, that's a tricky question. Make sure you try your best there. Next, number 5. Graph the inequality. Y less than or equal to x minus 5. This is slope-intercept form. Y less than or equal to mx plus b. Identify the y-intercept. That's the b. 0, negative 5. Identify the slope. That's the m. The number in front of x. There's no number, so it's a 1. Up 1 to the right 1. And now we start with our y-intercept. Y is this axis, so go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count your slope. Up 1 to the right 1. There's my second point. It is equal to. Equal to means solid line. And because y is solved for, we can trust the inequality symbol. Less than means below. So we shade below. And below would be down here. And there's a solution to this inequality, or the graph of this inequality. Okay, last one here. We need to write an inequality for the graph. Okay, so we have to take a look at this and say, hey, this is an absolute value. The line is solid, and they shade it above the line. So our general form, y is greater than or equal to, above, solid, a absolute value x minus h plus k. And your job is to find what a, h, and k are. So let's first start with h and k. What is the shifting? Remember, the original vertex is here at 0, 0. How do I get to the new vertex? How do I move to that point right there, which is coordinates negative 3, 0? Well, I just slide to the left 3. The movement for the vertex is left 3. You go up or down, none. So you don't move up or down. Okay, no up, down. So left 3, this is your h, and this is your k. Left 3 is your h, but remember, you always do the opposite. So left 3 seems like minus 3, but it's actually plus 3. Since you move up or down none, there is no k value. K is 0. It's gone. But you don't write it, right? Plus 0, but it's not there. And now to find your a, you need to treat a as the slope. A is slope of the right side. So starting from this point, this vertex, let's find another nice point. This point looks good right here, right? Negative 2, 1. To get to that point, how do I go? Well, you have to go up 1, so the slope, up 1, and to the right 1, right? Up 1 to the right 1. That is positive 1 over positive 1. That's just a slope of 1. If you want to put the 1 there, that's fine, but again, you don't need it. So the absolute value inequality here is y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x plus 3. And again, you can put the 1 there, you can put the plus 0 at the end. I don't care, but you don't need them. The 1 here doesn't matter, the plus 0 at the end doesn't matter. So make sure you can start with this equation. Right? You need to know that inequality, that general form. Alright, hopefully these 6 problems helped you prepare for your quiz. Make sure all your notes are filled out well, and we'll see you on Wednesday.